Hi there. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome into this brand new year, 2026. We're here. We're here. We've arrived. Brand new year. Let's breathe that in. Before we talk about what you're going to accomplish this year, can I ask you something more honest? When was the last time you felt fully lit on the inside? Not energized by adrenaline, not productivity out of necessity, not fine for the sake of other people, but genuinely steady, present, and whole. Welcome to the Achieve Intentional Transformation podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leonie H. Mattison, and I'm truly grateful you're here. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And wherever you are listening from, whether you're folding laundry, driving to work, maybe you're sitting in your car because it is the only quiet you get, or maybe you're walking around your neighborhood trying to settle your nervous system, or simply lying in bed hoping you can gather yourself. I want you to know, my friends, you do not have to be impressive here. You do not have to have it all figured out to join this community of intentional transformation. I want you to give yourself permission to be fully human being when you're here. So if you came into this new year still carrying last year's weight, maybe that's a ton of responsibilities, tough pressures, unmet needs, grief that did not get processed, and expectations that never seem to slow down, and you can feel that weight showing up in your body, then this episode is for you. I've been thinking about you. I've also been thinking a lot about how a new year has a way of making us reach for resolutions, and those resolutions often sound like strength. They often look like discipline. And most time, they do come packaged as ambition. And I don't know if you're anything like me. We tell ourselves we're going to do more, become more, fix more, and finally get ahead of what's been haunting us. However, if we are truly honest with ourselves, resolutions can become a way of trying to outrun ourselves. They can become a way of saying, if I just tighten up, if I just push harder, if I just say focus, then I will finally be okay. I will finally feel okay. When you have spent a long time carrying a lot, it is easy to believe that the solution is to carry even more with a better attitude. So what I've been thinking about for the last couple of days is what I'd like to share with you today. And that is something deeper than a resolution and something more sustainable than motivation. This year, I'm inviting you to rebuild your life on restoration rather than resolution. I know, I changed the rules. I am. Because resolutions often come from pressure, performance, and fear that you're falling behind. Restoration, on the other hand, comes from wisdom, courage, and the decision to stop abandoning yourself in the name of responsibility. Resolutions are often what you demand from yourself. However, restoration is what you learn to provide yourself, even when nobody's clapping. So that's where we're going today. How do you protect your light from burnout? Looking at it from the perspective of restoration. So if you have been feeling stuck lately, I want you to name it. Name that something that many high capacity leaders, people do not recognize until their bodies force the conversation. And I don't want that for you. So you may not be stuck because you lack discipline, and you may not be stuck because you do not know what to do. You may be stuck because your internal system has been carrying too much for too long without enough repair. And maybe for you, your capacity has been stretched past what is sustainable. My friends, sometimes what we call being stuck is actually overload. I believe for many of you, your mind might be trying to move forward, but your body is still braced for impact. Your spirit might still believe in your purpose and the purpose of your life, but your energy has been drained by constant pressure, right? Of being, or maybe having to hold everything together. I don't even know if that's even realistic. And for some of you, your soul might have dreams, but your inner world is tired of being ignored. And so before you plan this year, my friends, before you chase goals, and before you try to level up, I invite you to tend to what will carry you through the year. Pay attention, give attention and intention to what will carry you through the year. And that is where this metaphor that I'm going to share with us today begins. Many of you know I grew up in Jamaica, the West Indies, before I go there. And whenever storms knocked out power, my family did not panic. We did not make darkness mean disaster, and we did not respond with chaos either. I remember that growing up as a little girl. My grandparents would reach for what we trusted. And what we trusted was the good old-fashioned kerosene lamp when the light was out. Now, if you look at this, you notice that this lamp is not flashy, but it is faithful. And this lamp does not require perfect conditions to do what it is designed to do, and it does not compete with the sun. The lamp simply offered light because it had an infrastructure that could endure disruption. Now, if you notice the lamp, it has a base, it has oil, it has a wick. See the wick? You see the wick? And it has a steady flame, but it also has a shade. Mine is a little bit dirty because I use it quite a bit. Years later, as I began to lead, serve, build, rebuild, and carry responsibility in seasons that demanded more than I thought I had, I realized that this lamp was not only a childhood memory, it has become a blueprint for me. You are a lamp. And I do not mean that in a poetic or superficial way. I mean it in a structural way. I mean that your light is not powered by willpower alone, and your capacity is not sustained by ambition alone. I know the world wants you to believe that. Your light is powered by the condition of your inner system, which includes your body, your spirit, your soul, and your boundaries. That is why we're going to bring in this image today. If you do not tend to the lamp does not punish you. The lamp will simply tell you the truth. It tells the truth through cracks, fatigue, maybe dimness, and even numbness. For many of you, it might be that you become irritable and or disconnected. It may show itself through exhaustion that no amount of pushing can fully erase. I also want to name something that this does not happen because you're weak. It happens because you are a human being. And what you're experiencing is not rare anymore. It is common. It is widespread. And it is also deeply connected to the way many of us are living right now. I say that because the U.S. Surgeon General's workplace mental health framework highlighted something sobering. In one national survey, 76% of U.S. workers reported at least one symptom of mental health condition. And 84% said workplace conditions contributed to at least one mental health challenge. And I understand that because we spend at least 80% of our time in the workplace. But that tells me something important. It tells me we're living inside systems, work systems, family systems, cultural systems, and even faith systems that often consume people faster than they restore them. And it also tells me that people are doing their best to function inside environments that were never designed to protect the human soul. And that is why this year cannot be about resolutions, my friends. This year, you can't ignore that reality. This year must be about tending the lamp. Let me name the parts of the lamp, because once you can see your inner infrastructure, you can care for it with tenderness, with wisdom, rather than with shame and pressure. Let's grab the lamp again. So you're a lamp. Your body is the base of the lamp. See? The base. And your nervous system, your body carries the nervous system, your breath, your sleep, your stamina, your ability to recover after stress. That's the base, right? Your body is not an inconvenience. And your body is not something you should keep overriding until it forces you to stop. I have experienced that in the past, right? Your body is the platform that holds your life. My friends, if you have been treating your body like a machine, if you have been overriding the fatigue, the hunger, if you have been rushing past headaches, tensions, and unrest as if those things are irrelevant, I want you to hear this clearly. Your body is not being dramatic. Your body is being honest. Pay attention. Now, number 2, your spirit. Your spirit is the oil in the lamp. Your spirit holds meaning, faith, purpose, and your spirit is part of you that knows there is more in your life than performance and survival. Your spirit is the quiet place where your connection to God lives, and it is the place where you remember who you are beneath your responsibilities. Yes. If you have been feeling spiritually dry, disconnected or numb, it does not always mean that you are failing. Maybe, just maybe, it means that your oil is low and your spirit needs to be replenished with what is clean and life-giving. Now let's talk about number 3, your soul. It is the flame of the lamp. Your soul holds your emotions, your inner world, your imagination, your creativity, your joy, and your grief. Your soul, my friends, is what makes you human being. Your soul is what makes you tender. It is what allows your life to feel meaningful rather than just functional. Yes. When your soul is tended, when you care for your soul, you're still strong, but your strength has softness in it. When your soul is not tended to, you can still show up, but it begins to cost you parts of yourself that you do not want to lose. Your boundaries. That's the shade of the lamp. Your boundaries protect your light from burning too hot, because the lampshade is a little bit hot right now. It protects it from being too harsh and too exposed. Boundaries allow your light to last. Now, boundaries are not selfish, and boundaries are not rejection. I know we feel that way at times, but boundaries are what protect your future self from being depleted by constant access other people feel entitled to. So you have to protect the lampshade. Protect the lampshade of your life. Without boundaries, your light becomes a public utility that everyone draws from until, guess what? You're empty, then you become resentful, and you no longer recognize yourself. Here's what many of us miss. Most of the world praises your flame. The world will praise the output, the visibility, the results, the reliability, and the wow. They'll say, I cannot believe you handled all of that. However, the flame is not the whole system, my friends. The flame is the result of the system. If you keep trying to shine without tending to the base, the oil, the wick, the shade, you will eventually start living a life that looks successful on the outside while feeling unsustainable on the inside. So, what happens when the lamp is not tended? Let's talk about that. What I've found is that when the base starts cracking, your body begins speaking in symptoms. For many of you, you may notice tension that never fully releases, sleep that no longer restores you. You may find that you have headaches that keep returning, maybe a tight chest, shallow breathing, brain fog, or a nervous system that feels constantly on. That is not weakness, my friends. That is the body sending a message your life has not slowed down long enough to hear. I've been there. Now, the other part of this is that when your oil runs low, your spirit begins drying out. Now, you can still lead, but the joy feels distant. You can still serve, but the meaning feels thin. And for many of you, you still show up, but you know deep down in your heart that is all mechanical. That dryness is not always a crisis of faith, Sometimes it's just a sign that your spirit needs care the way the body needs water. Let's talk about when the flame dims, right? This is where your soul begins protecting you by shutting down. And so you might find that you stop dreaming, you stop creating, or you stop expecting good things. And what replaces that is that you become more reactive. You might begin to feel numb. Cynicism can start creeping in, and it's not because you're a negative person. It's because exhaustion has made hope feel too expensive. My friends, when the shade slips, I'm talking about your boundaries here, when they begin to collapse, you find that you say yes when you mean no. You overfunction so nobody's disappointed. You explain yourself when you do not need to. You say, I'm going to stay silent to keep the peace. Or you may choose other people's comfort at the cost of your own truth. And guess what? Eventually, you can wake up and realize you feel far away from your own life. And that is not what I want for us this year. So if any part of this feels familiar, take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel seen rather than judged. Because this is not condemnation. This is not a diagnosis. This is an invitation. I want you to see this as an invitation for restoration. And here's the leadership insight I want to offer you at the start of this year, 2026. When you take time to take care of your lamb, it is not self-indulgence at all. It is stewardship. It is responsibility at a higher level. It is also very courageous, and it's a courageous decision to stop outsourcing your well-being to someday. I want you to use your wisdom to recognize that your life cannot be sustained by performance without repair. I know. So instead of resolutions, I'm inviting you to give yourself permission to restore your being. A restoration that will help you to return to who you are every single year. So here's a lamb, I call it the lamb check, 4 questions. And they're designed not to shame you, but to bring you back to yourself. Are you ready? I gave you the practices. Let's start to do some self-reflection. So the base, your body. Ask yourself, what has my body been asking for help, and what have I been overriding because I felt I did not have time? Number 2, the oil, which is your spirit. Ask yourself, what has been draining my meaning, and what refills it even slightly, just a little bit? Number 3, the flame, your soul. Ask yourself, what emotion have I been avoiding, and what is it costing me to keep avoiding it? Number 4, the shade, your boundaries. Ask yourself, where have I been betraying myself to keep other people comfortable? One more. Now I want you to make this practical, because we do not heal in theory, we transform in practice. And the practice needs to be small enough so you can take a step and do it today, not someday, right? So I'm going to offer you 4 restorative actions, and I want you to think of them as acts of care rather than acts of performance. Can we do that? I think you can. Let's do them together. Number one, when you repair the base, you choose an act of physical care that communicates safety to your nervous system. And when I talk about caring for your base, that can mean drinking water, stretching, walking, taking slower breaths, going to bed on time. Good at that one. Scheduling an appointment or eating like someone you love lives in your body, because someone does. Number two, refill your oil. Choose one moment of meaning. That could mean praying, reading scripture, sitting in stillness and silence, maybe stepping outside without your phone, or letting your spirit drink something clean. If all you have today is one honest sentence, let it be, God, I need you to meet me here. Number four, protect your flame. I want you to speak one sentence that brings you back to yourself. You don't need a speech. You just need to be honest. A sentence may be something like, what I haven't said is, or I feel. And that can just be the beginning of your truth. And finally, your shade. When you reset your shade, you can just set one boundary you can keep. And that might mean saying no, logging off on time, stop over-explaining, refusing to negotiate with guilt, or making sure your rest is not the first thing you sacrifice when you get busy. Boundaries are not rejection, my friends. They truly are protection. Here's what I want to leave with you today, because you deserve language strong enough to interrupt the cycle of resolution. Your light does not exist to prove your worth. Your light exists to serve the world, to serve your life so you can actually serve the world. You don't have to abandon your body, silence your soul, betray your boundaries, or starve your spirit. That's not the plan of God for your life. And so this year, we do not celebrate burnout as devotion. We do not confuse depletion with destiny. We do not call exhaustion the price of excellence. No more. Cross out, they're gone. This year, I'm inviting you to replace resolutions with restoration, because a reset is not a reinvention. A reset is really returning to yourself, is coming home. It's a return to wisdom, a return to the truth that you were never meant to burn yourself alive to keep other people warm. Ouch. Replay that. So here's the New Year question I want you to carry into your days. Ask yourself, what does the most restored version of me do next? Today, in this moment, not next month, not after the deadline, not after everyone else is okay, in this moment. Take it further. Ask yourself, how do I take one breath that is actually deep? How do I take one step that is actually kind? And how do I make one choice that protects my light rather than spending it. My friends, this is how transformation begins. I am so proud of you. I know it's a challenge because you're so used to the word restoration. Both, but resolutions at the beginning of the new year. But I want you to replace that with restoration. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, leave a comment so that you will be notified when the next video drops. And if you know someone who needs this, share it with them. I always appreciate hearing from you because your voice helps me and others, right, to find this space. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to tend to your lamp, and welcome to a year of restoration, my friends. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm actually going to read something out of my book tonight. Hang tight. I'm just going to grab a page and read it out of the thread, right? 6 Steps to Intentional Living After Trauma or Crises. On page 15 says, it's beautiful to see a woman live in true freedom and profound joy. Love it. Oh, grab a copy of the book. Thank you. Thank you for joining Achieve Intentional Transformation. Until next time, take care now, my friends. Bye.